Lisa's views on Braille.
So when did you learn Braille and how actually were you taught?
I learnt it when I was 5. There was a lady in Swindon who had a blind daughter, and so she taught me a bit of Braille before I went to school, and then I learnt the rest of it at school.
I assume that today you use a Braille keyboard on a computer.
No, I don't. I
You
touch
don't?
type. I learnt that when I was 7.
But do you still have a Brailler? And
I have a Brailler, and I use that for writing up notes. If I was going to send somebody who was blind a birthday card, I would use that Brailler for that. All sorts of things. Small, quick notes to myself, I use the Brailler. I label things with it, so when a letter comes through the post, which either someone reads to me or I read on my scanner, depending on what it is, if it's something I want to file, say it was a letter from the bank, I would then put it in the Brailler and put letter from bank and a bit about what it was about and the date, and I brailled that on the back, and then I could file it and I could find it next time I needed it.
do organisations like banks send you information in Braille?
The bank does, actually. It's very good. And some of the other organisations, Thames Water does, and some other organisations I've had to battle a bit more with it. Some don't, but now we've got email, it does make things easier because they can send you an email.
What value do you put on Braille today?
I put extremely high value on Braille today. There is a trend at the moment for people thinking that Braille's gone out of fashion, or I think it is beginning to swing back the other way. The other technologies can run alongside it, like computers, audio, but they don't supplant it in any way. There are things you can only do with either Braille or, if you can see, a hard print copy, or maybe you could have it on the screen if you could see, but you can't do with audio, shall we say, such as giving a presentation would be very difficult if you had just some cue notes in front of you. If I was reading in church, which I do, read scripture, I couldn't stand up there with a pair of headphones on my head repeating every sentence that the audio Bible was saying, could I? I need it a hard copy so that I can stand there and read it. Labelling is very good in Braille as well. There are a few good labelling devices out now, audio ones, but also it's nice to be able to read a book, and I don't mean listen to a book. I love listening to books. I listen when I'm ironing, cooking, and it's a fantastic experience. But also to have a book in front of you and to get the spelling more than anything of people's names, place names. You don't get those if you're just listening to something. Of course, there's something you can do which sighted people can't do, which is read in the dark. When I was a little girl, my brother and I were told, okay kids, lights out, 9 o'clock. Yep, no problem. Fine, that's all right, Mum, yeah. Out went the light. Still a couple more hours reading time yet, well, before Mother comes up to check on us before she goes to bed. And very often I just carried on reading in the dark. Sometimes you put the book under the covers, but it is difficult to get the pages turned over sometimes. But yes, Braille, every time, Braille.